It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, welcome back. Mzansi, we're live. We've got the power back on, and we do apologize about earlier, obviously dealing with load shedding, but don't worry, we got you covered. We got backups, and we're always going to come and serve you. So, officially, let me welcome you back, and it's another installment of the Culinary Hotline Bling! Ching, ching, ching! Yes! Wow. Angels in the studio. I like it. This is going to be a special one, and we are joined by the one and only, our favorite Chef Clem in the building. And if you have any questions for Chef Clem on all things in the kitchen, you can call us right now. The phone is online. It never goes off. 021-110-555-2, and we'll be coming at you with all the answers that you need. Chef Clem, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Always excited to be with you in the kitchen, solving, slaying, and just killing any questions and conundrums that we might have in the kitchen. And I told you,
wait. You haven't done it yet.
Oh, can I like just
You can do it. You can reject the call. You can answer the call.
What? Swipe. Hello. How may I help you? This is the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ryle speaking. Hello.
Hello,
Hi there. Who may I ask is calling?
it's Barbara here from Gauteng.
Good morning, Barbara. How are you doing this morning?
Watching Expresso. That's so marvelous.
Where else would you be?
So you're
I mean,
having
that's the best thing to do. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what is your question that you have for Chef Clem this morning?
It's not really a question. It's just something very old-fashioned that is very reliable. If you've got some potatoes left over, chop them a little bit and put them in a frying pan with a touch of oil and some chopped cabbage.
Ah.
You know the kids don't like eating cabbage.
Yeah.
So this is one way of getting it down because the name of that is Bubble and Squeak.
Oh, okay.
And then they love the name and they plumb into it.
They do.
And a pinch of salt, of course.
Definitely. Barbara, did we speak to you a few weeks ago? Was it you that we spoke to?
Yes.
It's Barbara,
Yes,
man.
Clem has got
Hey, what's
some
up?
idea to add to that would be super as well.
Barbara coming through.
I really
Thank you
like
so
this
much.
recipe, Barbara, and thank you so much for calling us then and again today. We're actually going to make some bubbly and squeak, and I love this recipe because, number one, it uses leftovers. At any time, you can create something epic with leftovers. I'm game.
And I love what Barbara is saying because she mentioned a lot of the time your kids don't want to chow their vegetables, especially when it comes to something like this. This is a great way to sneak it in and make it taste that good too, right?
It is, and we're using cabbage and potatoes, which is traditional, but I've also seen moms get really smart about it and add extra things to it. So essentially, bubble and squeak is when you start getting that sound when the moisture is released from the potatoes, especially the cabbage in the pan, and you get that.
I thought it was the sound of the dance moves as you get excited to come and eat the meal, you know? Bubble and squeak, you know what I mean? No?
Wow! Yes, absolutely. So you can add things like leftover broccoli, leftover cauliflower, some carrots, whatever you've got in
nice,
there.
yeah.
Add it to the pan, and it's going to start releasing that moisture. You're going to get that sound. But what makes bubble and squeak so amazing is the fact that you end up with this amazing crust. And anytime there's caramelization, especially when it comes to vegetables, kids are more likely to eat it because it tastes so much better.
Kid doesn't like the crunch. Come on.
Who does not like the crunch? Okay, so onions have gone in here, and you don't have to use a lot.
Okay.
A little bit of butter, a little bit of salt. The butter's in there because I'm making it a little fancy, but essentially, this dish you can make with like the barest of ingredients at home. So, I've just popped this into, you can even wilt your cabbage in the microwave a little bit if you want.
Wilt it in the microwave?
In the microwave, a little, like just pop it in the bowl there, that moisture that's in is going to help soften it. Or you can
Okay.
do it in a pan, but I'm trying to keep everything one pan.
Yes.
Because we don't like
efficiency.
We don't like dishes on Expresso.
I like doing dish, not dishes.
There we go. Okay, so get that in there. Make sure you get your cabbage nice and coated in that butter. Get that seasoned in there. Cabbage is so underrated.
Yeah.
And I get it, like Prosperino, who's one of our camera guys, he always said, what's the main meat that people have in January? Cabbage. He told me this years ago.
January.
And every time I like have it, I always think about him saying the main meat people have in January? Cabbage.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's amazing. It's delicious. It adds so much flavor. It's versatile. You can actually make these like wraps out of it. stuff it.
Yeah, I was
like
just going to
this.
say, you see it all over, and I mean, you look at the rest of the world as well. I mean, in Asian influence, you always get this in a lot of the noodle and ramen dishes as well. It just seems like a staple with almost anything. If they're having pork and meat, there's always cabbage on the side as well.
Exactly.
So it's something that is traditional in many countries all over the world, but for South Africans especially, bubble and squeak is something that we've...
Bubble and squeak. What's a braai without a coleslaw? Oh no, when did it come past? So you know about that?
No?
That's that, okay, we're gonna have to make that. Well, it's winter, we should totally make it.
What is
It's
that?
like these meatballs wrapped in the cabbage, in the dish. You're gonna like, put a sauce over it in the oven. So everything cooks inside those cabbage balls.
Huh?
It's delicious.
Is that a thing?
Is it a thing? We are making, when did it come past? So I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that.
Yes, a cabbage fest.
So, if you have any questions about cabbages, let us know. I think that's a great opportunity to do like a whole thing on cabbages.
One of the most underutilized veggies, and one of the probably internationally one of the options when it comes to doing so much crazy things with it. So maybe that can be the next thing.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I've given my potatoes because my potatoes were cooked previously.
Yes,
like
so
imagine
they're
those are
nice and soft
leftovers.
already, yeah?
Imagine, you can even do this with roast potatoes, to be honest with you. Chop it up, get a masher, just mash everything together. What's going to happen is now, because I'm mashing it, it's going to create amazing contact with the bottom of the pan.
Yeah?
It's almost going to cook like a frittata. You can actually move it as one piece.
Okay, it all comes together.
Flip it over. This is what you end up with. But obviously, that's your main element. From here, turn it into breakfast. A poached egg, something on the side with it.
And I
maybe
see you
some
got
bacon.
the crisp on the top of
You
that.
got that
so
crisp.
nicely as well, yeah.
If you're using yesterday's leftover ingredients, you've maybe got some leftover lamb or anything, a little bit of gravy, serve it with that. It is epic. It's so comforting. This is one of the most wallet-friendly dishes you can make and so satisfying. The crisp that you get on this.
And look how quick it was as well, man. I mean,
No,
you literally
absolutely.
finished it in almost like less than a minute, able to solve questions, answer conundrums. And I'm just thinking to myself the other things that you could add to this, because on its own, yes, it's amazing, but I'm just getting creative and wild and thinking what you could put on top of this.
What are you
Endless.
thinking? What are you thinking?
I don't know, I'm going crazy. I mean, I'm just thinking of the meats you could incorporate back into this.
Absolutely.
Obviously thinking of something like, imagine like a shredded pork, a pulled pork or something like that. Or
Take it with
something on top of
Asian,
this.
maybe with a coriander slaw on
man.
top. This is honestly such a great way to use up leftover potatoes and cabbage. And the fact that you can take it to breakfast, lunch, or supper is absolutely amazing. Another thing is, load shedding is gone. Uncle, man.
Oh, come on now.
If you know what's going to be happening soon, it took us so quick to make this. You can get this on the go real quick. And then at the same time, you're heating something up in the microwave, like your meat and your protein. Bring it all together, actually flip it in the pan, serve everything in the pan, get everybody around the table.
It is done.
Barbara.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for that incredible tip. Obviously, you can get this recipe expressoshow.com for all the inspiration. And we'll all be back with another edition of the Culinary Hotline Bling. So we'll see you in just a moment. Peace out.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back. It is that time where we solve all the conundrums. It's another edition of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ching, ching, ching! Yes, and the energy is so good for this
So
one.
good.
We already had a round one. It was so good as well. We had a great conversation with Barbara, telling us about, what was it, bubble and squeak?
Bubble and squeak?
Let's think of the dance, bubble and squeak. And now we're doing something especially with regards to leftovers, because this has been like a hot topic for weeks now, right? Leftovers, how to use them efficiently, some ideas, some tips. We've been giving you tips. We've been asking you for tips, and the conversation has just been flowing. Absolutely loving what's going on. And I see you've got something prepared again with some leftovers?
We do.
Yes,
So I've got some leftover
nice.
roast chicken. So here's the thing, right? We always say when it comes to winter, try and bulk batch cook. But sometimes you get like, I know in my household, if I'm gonna have one roast chicken today, if I'm gonna make something with it tomorrow, I'm gonna have to change it up completely because they don't want to eat the same thing again.
Yeah.
So what I love is like Woolies would sell the 2 chicken packs, and there's a great value because you'll see if you
I see where you're
per
going with
kg.
this. Yeah,
So here's the thing, whenever I roast chicken, I always roast 2. One is obviously going to be for today, and the other one's going to be for lunches, which, I mean, who doesn't love a chicken mayo on like bread for lunch? It's amazing. Or any other little element I can turn it into. You're saving time by roasting 2 chickens, and then you're also saving time by not having to prep something again in the week.
Energy.
So,
You're saving energy as well, which is way.
Yes.
Speaking of energy, it's coming through.
Who's that? Who's that?
Let me answer the call.
Answer.
Let me do my thing. Voila. Hello there, this is Raul speaking. It's the Culinary Hotline Bling. How may I help you?
Hello, is this that handsome Ralph?
Oh, stop it.
do the bubble and squeak, do the bubble and squeak, do the bubble. Ah!
Oh, thank you so much. You're really making me blush this morning. Who may I ask is calling?
Okay, it's Cassie, and I live in a small little coastal town in Park Rainy. It's near Scottsboro. So
Okay.
I wanted to give you some acts on leftover chicken.
Oh,
Is that
yes.
okay?
Bring it,
Please,
bring it,
Cassie.
yes.
Yes, please. Let me get back to the kitchen side so I can listen to you as well. What are your tips for us this morning? What do you got for us?
Okay, normally when we have a roast, and then what we do is we keep it in the fridge, and the next day we make like a nice chutney
Ooh.
with tomato and onion and pepper. You can add mushrooms if you want to, and lots of chilies, and our masala, our Kashmiri masala, and ginger and garlic and garam masala, some cumin seeds, and then you get a nice thick sauce, and then you shred your chicken and you put it in.
Oh, it sounds
And then do you serve
delicious.
that over rice?
Yes, you can serve it with rice, you can have roti, you can have puri, you can have naan, whatever you prefer.
You're going to have a good time. That's what you're going to have.
Sounds like a good time.
That sounds
Cassie.
amazing.
Oh, I must say again, thank you so much for coming through because we love learning so much about everybody in our country, what they're doing with their food and some of the crazy tips that they have. I've got a question for you though. Mother's Day is coming up. It's this end of the week, right? What are you planning for
Yes.
Mother's Day, especially when it comes to all the crazy and amazing dishes that I know you can make? Do you have something special planned?
Yes, we're going to have like prawns, and we're going to have basmati rice,
Ooh,
and we're going
yum.
to have some fries to go with it.
Okay,
like,
nice. And-
chicken.
And will the family be helping you, or is it you on your own this time and then you just serving
Well,
it?
it's my daughter is going to come down from Durban, and then I have another daughter in Cape Town, but they won't be able to come.
Okay.
So it's just my daughter from Durban and my hubby and I.
What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Verona.
Verona. Well, tell Verona I say thank you on behalf of us for making your Mother's Day special. I'm glad she's making the time for you, and I'm sure she's going to love it because it sounds like you are cooking up an absolute storm, and I'm sure you all deserve it, especially you, Cassie,
Thank you,
especially
love.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, we are enjoying your exercises.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I hope you are joining us when we're doing the exercises as well, because it's making us earn these beautiful meals in the kitchen.
Well, we're trying to.
Cassie, you are an absolute treat and a delight. Thank you for coming through and sharing that with us. We love chatting to you, and maybe one day we'll actually even be able to have you in the kitchen.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
Yeah?
All right, so
All right. Oh, man, I love that call, by the way.
I love it.
People in South
I love
Africa
it.
have such good ideas when it comes to utilizing leftovers and being efficient. I think we've all been challenged in a way that's brought the best out of us, right?
Agreed,
Yeah.
agreed.
So what have you got for us?
So
Because
like I
see
said,
you've also got something
I've got-
inspired of leftovers.
Yes, I got our roast chicken over there. Shredded it up. Keep the skin in. There's so much flavor in there. Maybe just, if you're worried about it, cook it, reheat it with the skin in there, and then take the skin out afterwards.
Or like crunch the skin.
Crunch
Or
the
like,
skin.
Not crunch the skin, so yeah, roast it.
Just
crunchy,
don't even eat
and
it.
then-
Just crunch the skin. Just don't eat. Just,
that didn't sound right.
No, but you're right,
But
though.
what I mean is try to get it nice and crispy so you can add it back in. So it's almost
Yes.
like, I wouldn't say like a bacon brittle, but the chicken version of it.
Absolutely.
And that's good.
Absolutely. Yes,
So
I
many
love
things you
it.
can do with skins, right?
Yes. Okay. In here, I've got some chicken stock that we made ourselves.
All right.
You can use water if you want, totally fine.
Okay.
A little bit of milk and some flour. Okay. We're gonna blitz this up.
Looks like part of the bubble and squeak. I still can't get over the fact that I never knew that was the name of it.
That's the name. That's the name. Absolutely. Okay, so the rest of my stock goes in. Then I've got some mushrooms. You can chop these up, but this is like a speedy recipe of like, you don't have a lot of time, but you're gonna get dinner on the table.
Okay.
So mushrooms go in whole. There's like,
What are you making, like a sauce, right?
there's gonna be a sauce.
Okay,
A creamy mushroom sauce.
All right.
So another blitz.
I must have said the blender makes things a lot easier.
A
right?
lot
You don't
easier.
have to chop anything.
No, no
whatsoever.
chopping. Okay.
I love it.
So to this, we're gonna add. We can add the rest of the mushrooms if you want.
Okay.
So we're gonna get some heat on, and we're gonna go with our creamy mushroom sauce. And this is basically gonna be the sauce.
Straight
That's
in the pan,
how quick
okay.
and easy it is. You can see it's already got that thickness to
So
it.
you don't even need to add like oil or anything to that because everything's
Nah.
involved in the mixture. isn't it?
Everything's just gonna come together on its own.
Okay.
Because I'm being a little fancy and I feel like I add a little bit of butter to make it richer. Then I need a bit of salt in there, very, very important. Salt goes in, and pepper, okay? And then I've got some extra mushrooms. But what's going to happen is as soon as I get that texture of starts to thicken, I can then add the other mushrooms. Here's the thing.
Okay, I see what you're doing there. Nice.
Instead of chopping the mushrooms, break them.
Break them?
Okay, let me show you. You know when you cut through mushrooms and then you put it in your pan and you're like, why are my mushrooms like leaking moisture? They're steaming or frying. So mushrooms have like a normal line, almost like meat. So cut against the grain. Mushrooms also have a grain. So let me just, what you're gonna do is, if you break it, don't actually break on the seam. So the water's not like as easily gonna just seep out.
So you're not kind of like breaking that membrane, you're allowing all that moisture to be retained within the vacuum of the mushroom itself and then allowing that moisture to stay inside. This is why I'd wonder, whenever I make mushrooms, you slice them so thin, you put them in, and then you almost end up with more moisture at the end of it. You're like, but wait, I thought the heat gets rid of the moisture.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So break them like this. Another thing that happens is, because you're breaking it, you're not using your knife, you're not gonna have uniform pieces of mushroom.
Yeah.
You can have beautiful texture in there. Like pieces are gonna be differently shaped.
Rustic.
Rustic, but it adds so much flavor to the dish. Okay, so like I said,
Hey now, the number's going on again.
Answer
Let me
that
answer
call.
this. Let me do my bubble and squeak dance. Bubble and squeak. Woo! Culinary hotline bling. This is Ryle speaking. How may I help you this morning in the kitchen? Who's speaking?
Oh, hi. I'm actually not really asking about leftovers, but while you're there, I just want to ask him quickly. I make hamburgers, but I find that they're very dry when I fry them. How long do you fry them for?
All right, Pat from East London's got a question for you, Chef Clem. You got this?
I like the question. So the first thing I want to say is, you need to treat your hamburger like you treat a steak, because essentially what it is just ground up meat packed back into that shape and then cooked.
Okay.
So what I say is, take your mince, take it out the fridge like we do with a steak. Let it come to, if you're shaping them yourselves, like take the mince out. If you've got burger patties in the fridge already, just take them out a little bit. What that happens is it gradually brings up the temperature of the patty, so you're not left with the hot outside or warmer outside and a cold, chilled inside. Okay, so what you need to do, first thing is get your pan on, heat your oil, okay, first. Then add your mince or your burger patties that you've now shaped. What I do is I shape them into a little ball first, put the balls into the oil. The balls are gonna start releasing their own oil. Once you see a spray of oil around the burger itself, that's when you take a spatula and you squish them down. Okay?
Okay, into the burger shape.
Into the burger shape. And it's going to be
Okay.
rustic, but I promise you, the difference between not squishing it and squishing it is huge. That crust is amazing. What that burger spray does is when you shape it into a ball, it creates a little base. So sometimes you see your burgers tend to either cave in or cave out. That base is going to keep your burger super solid in form. So like I said, once you see that spray of oil, you squish it down, okay? Let it cook for another minute. So far we cooked it for about 3 minutes. Turn it over. The second time when it's on the other end, the rule is do not squish at all. If you squish now, you're going to squeeze all that moisture out.
Because now the moisture's turned around
Okay.
again.
Moisture's turned around. So you've now turned it over. You'll see it's got a beautiful crust. Another minute, and then you take it off. In that minute, even if it's
only
like a
3
bit
minutes
medium
on one
rare,
side and a minute on the other.
about a minute and a half, depending on what type of pan you're using, but a minute and a half. During that time,
Non-stick.
non-stick is also perfect. During that time, while it's busy resting on the side, because you cooked your burger with so much heat on the one end and the other end, it's going to continue cooking, okay? So let it rest before like another minute. Sometimes burgers also do lose that liquid like a steak. When you slice it too early, that juice comes out. So give it another minute, and then you can start plating up everything. There'll still be enough heat on your burger patty to add that cheese over to get it to melt. But I totally understand when people overcook their burgers because they try to get that beautiful char on the outside, and then by the time they do get it, the meat inside is like dry. So make sure you also
So you don't
preheat
put
your
the lid
pan.
on the pan.
Preheat your pan, take your meat outside of the fridge.
You put a
before
lid on the
time.
pan?
No, you don't need to. The only time you'll put a lid on the pan is if you put cheese on and you really want to melt the cheese over the burger patty, then you can put the lid on. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that putting the lid on the pan at all.
Yeah, Pat, I hope we answered your question.
No. What about, do you have to put any breadcrumbs in the mixture?
No, here's the thing. And I like when she says, do you answer your question? No. And I like it. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. You don't need to, if you're using really good quality meat, the only ingredients you need is going to be salt. And I don't even put the salt into my mince mixture. I put the salt over the top of the patties. You don't need a binder if you're using good quality meat. And I suggest you can even use 10% meat 90% meat, 10% fat. Obviously, the best burgers are your 80% meat to 20% fat. Don't add breadcrumbs, don't add eggs, don't add anything, nothing. Just meat. Your burgers will always hold their shape. They'll always be beautiful. If you want to make a frikadel, add your breadcrumbs and anything else. But for your burger patties,
One last
just
question.
meat. Hey?
One last question. She's got another question.
You can sit. We're ready.
Sorry, what was that again, Pat?
You'd have to put a thumb in the middle.
No. So because you've made that beautiful, when you made your dome ball and it formed that little crust at the bottom, it's going to hold the shape perfectly. You don't need to do the indent in the middle.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thanks
you
a
don't
lot.
need to do that, yeah.
Thank you so much, Pat. That was an
Pat.
awesome question. I learned a lot from that. So number one, take it out the fridge so that it's actually at room temperature throughout the burger. Also make sure that we create balls first and then flatten it down. Don't overheat it, don't cook it too much, and don't put your thumb in it. Absolutely love it, Clem. Last steps of your pie recipe there before we head out of this one?
Let this cook down to thicken a little bit. Some dough goes in. We've got an all butter puff pastry. Fill it like a big sausage roll, roll it up, bake it.
And voila.
Chicken pie.
Pat, Barbara, Cassie, everybody that came through this morning on the Culinary Hotline Bling, thank you so much for those questions. Thank you for those tips. I think everybody here learned a lot in the kitchen today, and I hope that those burgers end up incredibly. That's from Pat. Cassie, I hope that you enjoy the Mother's Day meal, and everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the Samzansi. You can find the recipe inspiration expressoshow.com, and that is a beautiful edition of Culinary Hotline Bling. Ching, ching, ching!